So we have a very simple, okay, the mouse is working, very simple sequence of it going, dropping down in an animation, and then audio playing. I'm not going to do the sound effect. Now, we don't just want the text to say go, 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 go. So what I'm going to do is actually use a custom track. So with Timeline, it's built in, it has animation and audio tracks and various things like that, control tracks for particles and things like that already built in. But one of the powerful things, you actually script your own tracks and script your own clips. So what we have here, if I select the countdown text and drag it into the Timeline editor, notice that there's TMP, Textmesh Pro, text switcher. This is very typical for, say, a conversation between two characters where you say at this point, this is the text being displayed, and then this point, this text is being displayed. And this custom track and custom playable that I've made is basically binds to a Textmesh Pro element, and then in the clips, kind of like the animation clip is saying, at this point, this is the animation, at this clip, this is the audio, it's saying at this clip, a certain text element is going to say this instead. So you can type in the string that it's going to say at this point in time. So what I'm going to do is take the countdown text, because that's the text element, the go that we want to sequence, or that I'm going to sequence, drag it into the timeline editor, and I'm going to select TMP text switcher track, which has this new track. If I then right-click inside this area, kind of like where we did right-click, add an audio clip, right-click, add an animation clip, I'm going to add a TMP, Textmesh Pro, text switcher clip, because basically you define the clip, and then it'll add a clip on the end. That's just a timeline thing.
We're working on it.
Clip, yeah. So you can add lots of clips. The default duration of a clip of a custom track is 5 seconds. But what I'm going to do is show you how you can actually take this clip and you can actually extend it and trim it. So you could do that with audio and animation as well, but what I can do is I can then take this clip. You can position it and snap it to different elements. What we can do is actually trim it down.
To be clear, you can change the duration, you can't change the default of 5 seconds, in case that came off as confusing.
Yeah, sorry. So what I could do is I could trim it down to 1 second, or in the inspector with the clip selected, you'll notice that I can set the duration, you can set the end, you can set the ease in, ease out, all sorts of options like that. So I have this clip here. You can even name it. So if I name this to like 3, you'll notice that it'll actually display 3. So you can actually name the custom tracks and name them different things to help you later on in terms of organization. And then in this custom playable, or this custom clip, we have here text, and I can write in here 3 and set the font size. So let's set this to be 150. So notice here, at this point, it will say 3. I'm then going to take this and duplicate it 3 times. So I have this text saying 3, 3, 3. Now, that's not going to be useful for a countdown. So what I'm then going to do is select each clip, change the name of the clip. You don't have to do that, but it keeps things a bit more organized. And then change the text that is then being set at that point. So 3, 2, 1, obviously, if I can count. And then at the end, Mike suggested YOLO yesterday, but if you're a millennial, you could totally do that.
You can do it if you're not. This is America.
Let's go with go. And then I've also exposed the font size. So I can have 3, 2, 1, go, and then on that last element, or that last clip, set the font size to be 200. So now it'll go 3, 2, 1, go. Now, I could have totally done that via script and written a script that then changes the element and animates it at these certain points, but with Timeline, you can have it more visual, you can orchestrate that all more visually, you can scrub through it and preview what's actually going to happen. Much easier to change, so rather than going into the script and changing, oh, actually, instead of go, it says YOLO and stuff like that, and then jump out, I can then just select the clip and then change the text that's on that particular clip. And then have a sequence 3, 2, 1, go. If I now click play.
It's worth noting that even though it's counting down, you're still able to drive and everything. We're going to control that in the next step where we sequence the whole thing together and turn it into the final product of the game. So right now, even though it's counting down, you can still drive and completely ignore it. But that gets us the sequence that we want.
Now it's actually really difficult to race because you have go in the way.
It still wants you to go.
Yeah, I know I'm going.
It hasn't stopped wanting you to go. All right.
Yeah. So that's that step. So what I did was take the countdown text, drag it into timeline editor, and select TMP text switcher track. Let's delete those. So with that text switcher track, right-click inside that track and create a clip. Now, I could adjust the size of the clip, but instead I'm just going to set the duration to be 1, because each of the 3, 2, 1 is 1 second long. Duplicate it 4 times, and then for each one, write the equivalent text. So 3, 2, and the font size, of course, 1, and then go. Cool, which is those steps there.